Hey there, Sandy Freshie, back with another video. Today's topic is how introverts deal with civil unrest. It's taken me a little while to get this out because I am an introvert and I'm dealing with the aftermath and the unfolding of the reactions to the death of George Floyd, as is most of the rest of the world. And I've had many conversations with my husband. We've had many conversations about what to do, how to respond, those types of things. So I just want to get on here and just share from my own experience, because I know a lot of you are introverts. You're deeply empathic. A lot of introverts are deeply empathic. And I want to talk about my experience and what I'm going through in a way that may somehow enlighten you or inspire you to get more clear, or about how you can get more clear about what actions you need to take at this time. So I just want to start, if you're new to this channel, this is something different than normal. I am going to weave this back into human design, because I know a lot of you are following me because you're interested in human design. And just to set the background for everything that I want to share, I am a 3/5 splenic projector. I have an undefined solar plexus, which means that I have been taking in a lot of ambient emotion and sorting through it, potentially amplifying it, feeling it very deeply. Those of you who have been following me, you probably know that about me, that I'm a 3/5 splenic projector. That's what my design is. My aura is, like many of you who are projectors, you know that you absorb things very deeply. What you may not know about me is that my grandfather, or my great-grandfather, was a slave. And I was raised in an African-American household. What I have been going through the last few days is a lot of internal searching, internal reflection around my own triggering, around my own sense of entitlement or privilege. And I know I've seen a lot of, especially women, who are examining their white privilege. And maybe that's because I follow a lot of women, a lot of privileged women, I guess. And my privilege is probably a little different because of my background and the fact that I can kind of shapeshift. And I have an undefined G center. So I shapeshift quite nicely, especially with my appearance, to fit in with any kind of a group that I am around. So I'm still processing all of that. But what I want to just share with those of you who are introverts, or those of you who have introverts in your household, regardless of their design, or regardless of your design, is that when an introvert, this is what I've really learned these past few days, when an introvert is faced with crisis, with confrontation, with a lot of emotion, especially those introverts who are emotionally empathic, the natural tendency for an introvert is to go inward. And that's okay. So do not mistake the introverts, the silence from the introverts in your life, as complicity. Because conscious introverts, now there are those of us who, or those who are, or even conscious introverts who go through stages of denial and all of the other things to not feel, right? But conscious introverts are taking in what's going on the outside, what's going on in the world at large, and processing it on a very, very deep level. And in a certain sense, we're filtering, and perhaps on that unseen non-action level, our work, at least initially, has to do with staying grounded, with staying present to what's going on inside so that it can be fully processed. That's just the natural tendency of someone who does not have the energy to push outward naturally, but needs to go in first. So that's what I've been doing, is a lot of going in, a lot of feeling, a lot of teasing out what is true for me and what is not. And of course, you know, I stand with Black lives. I stand with justice. And I imagine if you're an introvert and you're following me, you are probably doing that as well, and perhaps not voicing that. And that's okay, at least initially. And as I mentioned as I started this video, my husband and I have really been having a lot of conversations. Him as a so-called privileged white man, and me as the half Asian, part Caucasian, part African American woman who doesn't fit really anywhere, and fits everywhere at the same time. We've been really asking ourselves, where is our place? What is it for us to do? And I'm still asking myself that. I know that any action taken from a should is not an action from the heart. So the actions that I have been able to take from my heart that still allow me to stay aligned with the love that's in my heart are at this point internal actions. Those actions that encompass prayer, those actions that encompass staying in the present moment, staying grounded, staying connected with what's going on with me so that I can release and heal and work with and transmute my own wounding and triggers, as well as to balance myself or keep myself balanced in the midst of all of the outside energy and emotion that is around me, that is in the air, that's ambient around me. And those of you who are really open and empathic, you understand what I'm talking about here. Going back to what can I do, or if you're asking that as an empath, what can I do, or as an introvert or an empath, what can I do? What actions can I take? And if you're really searching your heart for those actions that would be most effective, that would be most aligned, maybe it is speaking out. Maybe it is speaking out on social media. Maybe it's just waiting and staying in a place of balance. And for those of us who are projectors, or those of us who know what our strategy is, what our energetic strategy is for how we can most effectively meet and join with other people in the world, I'm going to encourage you to just consider that strategy as part of your consideration of the actions that you're here to take. For me as a projector, my most effective stance is to wait, is to be in this place of full alignment. And what has meaning for me at this point is to be in this place of my own self-healing, my own internal processing, until my heart is pure enough and clear enough that I feel the most resonant invitations pulling me out to outward action. You know, perhaps if you're a generator, you're also purifying and waiting for those things that you can really respond to. You know, and for all of the energy types, as I said, an action taken from a should is not an action from the heart. So if you're not clear in your heart, it's an opportunity to purify the heart before the clarity comes. And I was thinking also of people who are emotionally defined. You know, there are those of us who are emotionally undefined, first of all, who are taking all this in. And those of us who are aware of that are those of us with the undefined emotional solar plexus who are aware of that are probably very, very aware that any action taken from emotionality, amplified, dramatic emotionality, is not a true reflection of us and our own power. And those who have the defined solar plexus, those of you who are really riding up and down on your emotions at this time, I just want to share the gentle reminder that your clarity comes in those places of stillness, in those places where that emotional ride that you naturally take levels out, and you really will know at that point, or have a good feeling for everything that has gone before, every emotional experience you've had before that would contribute to informing you as to when to take action and what to take action on. If you're not familiar with human design, I jump into this assuming that you at least have some of that understanding about your chart, because this is who usually follows me. But if you're not, I will leave a link as to where you can get your chart. You know, you can always contact me on social media, or you know, contact me, my contact information that I'm leaving as well, if you kind of want to tease this out for yourself as to how you get clarity about taking action from your heart, from your pure heart, as opposed to what you think you should do. And for those of you who are introverts, I really encourage you to do the inner work. That it is okay to, I really want to remind you that it is okay for you to go inside and take as much time as you need to process what's going on with you, because your internal work is the work that holds the healing fabric of support for this planet. It's the work that contributes to the fabric, to the energetic network of healing for this planet. So the more healing, the more reconciliation, the more purification that happens within, especially for introverts. I can't speak for extroverts, sorry. But I know for me as an introvert, the more that happens, the more that sends ripples out into the world. Ripples of stillness and healing and peace and everything that is in your heart that is meant to come out. And then the actions are called out of us from there. So I think that's all I have to share at this point. I'll get back to some other videos on human design, and our theme this summer is healing. And I think it's a really good theme for everything that's going on. We are globally in such transition now, and we have more power than I think we realize. And just as a little sidebar, as some sharing for me personally, my own experience, be careful of indulging too much in media, because whether it's deliberate or not, there's a lot of news coverage that can trigger feelings of powerlessness that will keep you stuck in where you are, circulating whatever energy that you really need to transform and transmute for the good of all of us. So I'll just leave you with that, and thank you so much for listening. If you like these kinds of videos, if you are interested in human design as well, or healing, please like this video. Please share it with anyone that you think would benefit. And I invite you also to subscribe to my channel. Until the next time, be well.